Hello YouTube and welcome to Gotham episode 10 review. It has been almost 2 weeks since it premiered, but I've been super busy with finals. Went back home for the holidays, so it's been busy. But this was the mid-season finale, the mid-season finale of Gotham Season 1 titled Lovecraft. Very good episode, showed us a lot of cool sides of different characters and had a very cool ending, I think, that opened up the rest of the season for a lot of really cool opportunities for the show to kind of explore. Let's get into number 5. Uh, in this episode, basically the story is that Selena Kyle's hiding place at Wayne Manor is compromised. And my number 5 thing is Gordon and Dent's confrontation. Gordon, of course, blamed Dent for this, and Dent reveals that he did leak Gordon's name to a couple people to show that his lead was, it had good credentials, and it was like a worthy kind of thing, I guess. I don't remember what he said. It's been uh, almost 2 weeks since I watched the episode. Oops. Um, but it was really cool to see them kind of butt heads, and I kind of expected Dent to blow up on Gordon like he did on Lovecraft in the last episode, but he didn't. Kind of unfortunately, that would have broken the friendship, I think, that happened. It was really cool to see Gordon butt heads with Dent. So, number 4, Cat and Bruce's, or Catwoman, Selena Kyle, whatever you want to call her. She goes by Cat. That's what I have it right out of the notes. Cat and Bruce's relationship. Of course, they go on the run out of Wayne Manor when assassins come and try to either kill Cat or kidnap her. The episode starts off with building the relationship by Cat kind of teasing Bruce that Cat wants to kiss Bruce or Bruce wants to kiss Cat. And eventually at the end of the episode they do. Um, it was a very neat episode as far as their relationship goes. They go to a lot of different things. Bruce also meets Ivy for the first time, and Ivy kind of is very quick and easily angered, which is very common. And the character Poison Ivy that we know that she will come up to be. Um, at one point, Kat leaves Bruce at a phone booth, or leaves him because she's free and he's free. He ends up chasing her and jumps across her building. And at that point, Kat's like, "Okay, you're cool. You can stay with me. We'll fend the city off together." It was really cool to see their relationship build in this episode. We saw it start in the last episode, and we see it now building even more in this episode. And I'm sure that it will continue to build as the season and series progresses. Okay, number 3, Alfred's character progression in this episode. So far we've just seen that he's just kind of watched over Bruce and he cares about Bruce, but that's pretty much it. In this episode we see a lot more of Alfred and what he's capable of, and he is a badass. Sorry for excuse my French, but he was. The assassins came and he kicked butt. He took out one of the assassins by shooting him. He's a pretty good shot. It was really cool to see Alfred kind of get in the action instead of just kind of sitting at Wayne Manor with Bruce. Um, and you see him interact with Harvey Bullock for the first time. At one point, Harvey says, calls him like a chauffeur or something, and Alfred corrects him with a butler, mate. I'm a butler. And kind of walks off and it goes to credits. Not credits, the logo, commercial. That's what it's called, commercial. My favorite scene with Alfred is not his action scene, it's his interaction when he goes to talk to Fishman. I forget what the bar is called. One point he's talking to Butch, and Alfred goes into one of his stories about how a kid was jokingly called Bush from his childhood because he was exactly opposite from what you would picture someone called Butch would look like. Um, Pretty much calling out Butch, saying that he's a coward. Um, so basically, Alfred is giving one of his metaphor stories that he always gives Bruce in the comment and in like the comics or this video games or movies when Batman's going through a hard time or Bruce is going through a hard time. Alfred to give one of his stories from the past um, to kind of give Bruce some encouragement. And it's really cool to kind of see that um, Alfred give one of those stories in this episode. It very much kind of a shout out to become a fan who really love and know Alfred. Number 2, Copperhead. I didn't really know this character was Copperhead, but one of the assassins was Copperhead, and it was a female. And the reason I didn't really know because in the past, Copperhead was always a male, except in the recent Arkham Origins, it was a female. And I guess that was so well accepted that they changed the character in the story to be female. It was really, and I guess it kind of makes sense as a snake and kind of slithers, and females are typically considered to be more flexible and agile in that kind of manner. But it was really cool to kind of see Copperhead introduced, and I hope she does come back because I loved seeing um, Copperhead. And finally, the number one thing at the very end of the episode, Gordon is transferred to security at Arkham. The mayor is not happy with what's happened in this episode. Lovecraft getting shot because Gordon and Dent were trying to convict Lovecraft for the Wayne murder. So Mayor is talking to Dent and Gordon, and Mayor says that Dent is really much of a threat, but Gordon is the kind of quick jump at things, so he punishes him by taking him out of the GCPD and transferring him to the security guard at Arkham. So that's what I'm saying when I started at the beginning of the episode, that there's the end of this episode really opens up the rest of the show. Um, at least I'm sure that Gordon will be back on the GCPD force by the end of the season. But we still have 12 episodes to go, so I would imagine at least half of those will be spent as security guard or at least working at Arkham. So really cool to see with him interact with uh, some of the criminally insane of Gotham, and maybe we'll get some more teases for future Batman villains. We'll maybe have some introduced for the actual show for the Gordon and Bullock to come up against. It'll be really interesting to see how all of this plays out once the show starts back up, in the fall. So that's going to be all for this episode. I've been Epic Gamer. Don't forget to like, favorite, and subscribe. And tomorrow I will have the Arrow Flash crossover videos uploaded for reviews. And I'm going to do the power outage episode of Flash from last week right after this. So until next time, God bless. See you then.